What's up, everybody? Matchy Gamer here to review Dragon Ball Super episode 35. Now, in advance, before I get into it, you may notice I am not using Dragon Ball Xenoverse as my background stuff going on during my commentary in this video, and that is because, due to software issues, my Xbox One is currently bricked. No, I didn't try to mod it like an idiot or something, not to say anybody that mods their consoles is a moron. It's just, if you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't do it. But again, I was not modding my Xbox One. It's just something weird happened somewhere. Whenever I went to try to update, it malfunctioned, and after trying to do a series of things I read online, plus after calling customer service and then doing a series of things on Microsoft's website, Xbox still isn't fixed, so I gotta send it off to get it fixed. But anyways, I digress on that subject. So, what is in the background on my video? Well, if you don't recognize it, it is Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle. It is a mobile-based game for iOS and Android. I highly recommend that you pick it up if you haven't. It's free to play. The only thing you gotta pay for in there is if you want to buy any additional crap like in most mobile games. But anyways, back onto the topic of the episode. So, of course, we open up with a recap of what happened the last couple episodes. Obviously, Goku getting freaking cheated by Frost, and then Piccolo pretty much in the same situation and then surviving. And ultimately, after everything's all said and done, after Frost was caught on his cheating by the help of Jocko, of course, thank you, Jocko, Vegeta then decides that he'd like Piccolo to drop out of the tournament so he can get a chance to jump in and beat up on Frost. So Piccolo, of course, agrees, and then Frost decides to change up the rules before their match begins. Frost reveals that he's going to now use another weapon he has, and apparently in his other gauntlet he has a more potent poison. It's very acidic, and we know this because whenever the drop of the poison hits the ground, it makes a hissing noise like it's burning. So, continuing from there, Vegeta goes Super Saiyan from the get-go, and then Frost charges at Vegeta. Vegeta then, of course, charges at Frost, and he's so freaking fast, like Frost just didn't realize how quick he was, and then gets punched in the gut, which sends him flying to the barrier above everybody. Frost hits it, it breaks, and then Frost hits the ground and loses. Vegeta then says, I'm not going to stoop to his level and kill him, after the referee, of course, checks to make sure that Frost is alive, which he is. So Vegeta wins the match. After all this goes down, of course, then we kind of see that Beerus is checking over Goku, trying to see, where a punch or hole is on him for whenever Frost cheated fighting Goku. Of course, he finds it on the palm of Goku's left hand, which he then says, Goku was cheated too. See, I found a puncture wound. And of course, Champa, who he's talking to across the way, then agrees to let Goku re-enter the tournament since he was cheated. So, yeah, that's how Goku gets back in, which then would explain why we're going to see, or at least based on some advertising in Japan, of Frost versus Hit, whom we learned a little bit more about in this episode, but I'll get to that when we get to it. Okay, so going forward, so now Goku's back in the tournament. No, he's not going to fight right now. Apparently, he's now placed behind Vegeta, but before Minoka, because Beerus insists that Minoka go last no matter what. And then every time Goku tries to get near Minoka to talk to him, ask if he wants to spar after tournaments or whatever, Beerus constantly steps in front of Goku and tries to stop him and make him leave him alone. Goku eventually concedes and just leaves him alone. But it appears Beerus is hiding something, and my short summary, what I think it is, and I hate to say it, I hate to sound like what everybody else is saying, I would like to give Minoka the benefit of the doubt, but it seems like Beerus may have overestimated Minoka's skills. What I'm thinking may have happened, because it was said that he fought Minoka a very long time ago. So what it could have been is that at an early stage of Beerus' training with Whis, whenever Beerus was a lot weaker, I know it was shocking, hard to believe that Beerus, the second strongest being in their entire universe, might actually not be, might at one point not have been as powerful as he was. Anyways, what I think happened was that whenever Beerus was weaker, he fought Minoka, and Minoka was pretty on par with him at that time. But here we are years later, and obviously Beerus has increased greatly in strength, as has Goku, obviously, and I think Beerus is just remembering a time when he was weaker. This is possible, and it would make an excellent comedy point, but at the same time, an unfortunate, obvious one. So, that's a current guess, but we'll see. We'll find out what Minoka's capable of if he does get to fight in a tournament, and I'm sure they will, because they won't just have him there to have him there. So, anyways, of course, now a new barrier is being made around the arena while Vegeta's standing in there. It's a very square-shaped arena, and of course, Beerus comes out there along with Whis to contest this new barrier that Vados is putting up for Champa. We kind of find out that they're changing the rules. Apparently now, if the barrier is touched, the barrier that they're using to cover the ring, mind you, that will count as a ring out, which makes it very reminiscent of the rules with, the BS rules that the Grand Kai made whenever Goku participated in the Otherworld tournament, if you remember that filler arc, which was actually very good. Anyway, so, of course, Vegeta doesn't seem to have an issue with it. In fact, he never says anything about it, really. And then while they're sitting there arguing, Whis then says, why don't you two settle this with a game of rock, paper, scissors? They, of course, start doing this. Meanwhile, Vados looks over her shoulder to see that Frost, who, mind you, was knocked out of the ring and lost, is now running off somewhere. Well, we kind of find out he's running towards, I guess, wherever Team Universe 6 landed and stuff. We didn't get a short flashback that apparently he was promised this big pile of gold, along with the promise of, okay, Champa will help you out whenever your adventures are. Well, he was there to steal it, and he's also going to steal that cube ship that they arrived in, which looks very similar to the one we brought everybody there in. Now, of course, wouldn't you know it, while he's sitting in there, Hit shows up behind him. Frost then freaks out and then says, you're Hit, the Hitman. So now we know Hit is a Hitman. I guess that was Toriyama trying to be funny there. Hit the Hitman. Okay, that's a standard joke. So, anyways, Hit then proceeds to use some sort of weird technique. I don't know what to describe it. I mean, at first I thought it was ice, but it didn't freeze him. It approached him, and then all of a sudden he had like a bunch of energy shoot out of him. And I'm talking about Frost, mind you. And then he drops to the ground. He's not dead, he's just knocked out. He picks him up and then begins to walk away with him. Vados, of course, who was standing behind a rock, says, "Guess there's no need for me to come over here." So she leaves, casually, of course. Anyways, we kind of find out that I guess they never Beerus and Champa never settled their rock, paper, scissors thing to decide if the barrier will stay up or not. Beerus ultimately just decides to let it happen, especially since Vegeta doesn't seem to be complaining about it. So, the next fighter on the roster for Team Universe 6 is Magneto, or how you pronounce it. He's a metal man from from some planet I can't remember the name of offhand. Apparently, they also exist in Universe 7, and apparently nobody in none of the Kais, anyways, were aware of this planet. Oddly enough, and like the Kais from Universe 6 are sitting there smiling and laughing at the fact that they are ignorant of this race existing in their universe, which seems a little weird. You think the Kais might know all the races that exist in their universe. I mean, it's one thing if there's like an anomaly, like Majin Buu, for example. Like, there's only one Majin Buu in the entire freaking universe, so I can't expect them to know of just one alien thing's existence. But whenever there's a planet full of them, a dominant, promising race in your universe, I figure if you're a god, you would be aware of it. But who knows? Maybe the Supreme Kai and all of them are just focused on too much other crap to give a damn about one planet full of sentient metal men and women, I'm assuming. Anyways, so he enters the ring and the fight begins. Vegeta, of course, is in base form during this fight. He has not changed into Super Saiyan. I guess he went back down to his base form after his fight with Frost. Everybody begins to notice that Magneto is, or at least they assume anyways, that Magneto is a type of warrior where he sacrificed his speed for raw power. You could compare it to that of like Super Vegeta whenever he went to fight Cell. He had big bulky muscles, but raw power. Unfortunately, due to the big bulky muscles, he slowed down. So, here's Magneto punching and punching, and unfortunately, he didn't, he's just not able to touch Vegeta, but that doesn't seem to make him worry, which is weird. Vegeta then gets out of the way, and Magneto begins to drink some sort of, cup of lava or something, I'm assuming, which then boosts his power. Vegeta then begins to kick Magneto in the head, which ultimately plunges it down, but after doing some weird steam thing or whatever and powering up, his head reemerges. Vegeta says, "Oh, you're a tough one, aren't you?" Vegeta, who's up in the air now, is using this as a strategy because he realizes Magneto cannot fly, apparently, which is why they put that barrier around the ring to give him an advantage. They were trying to rig it in Magneto's favor because he can't fly. He's a ground fighter, so Vegeta thought, okay, if I'm up here, he can't touch me. I'm in the best position. I may not be able to get super far away, but I'm far enough away he can't touch me. And then Magneto begins spitting Scizor Lava Spit, which of course causes Beerus to contest that he is cheating because he's using a weapon. The referee then confirms that it's not a weapon, it is a natural ability of his, much like Goku's Kamehameha or Vegeta's Gallic Gun or any other character's technique you can think of. So he begins to fire this, and Vegeta, of course, is able to escape, but it's narrowing in on him. Eventually, so much smoke clouds around him, and then Vegeta's covered in the smoke, you can't see him, and then Vegeta changes into a Super Saiyan, thus blasting the smoke away. And then Vegeta starts trying to fight him some more. Apparently, though, Magneto's gradually powered up to where he's a little bit tougher now, but we also see that something is weakening Vegeta. It's not like a heart virus or anything like that, just to be clear. It turns out that Magneto's powers have a, I guess you could say, what would be the word? Some side effects that do not affect him, but affect his opponent. Magneto's body and techniques produce heat. Now, since they're in an enclosed area with barely any way for the heat to escape, it's going to cause the heat to rise. Vegeta's up in the air, and this place is just going to keep getting hotter and hotter. It's causing Vegeta to sweat and get tired. He's breathing very hard, and so the room is trapping heat. The barrier is trapping heat, excuse me. So not only did they do that to make it limited on how far away an opponent can fly, but they're also doing it to trap in the heat, thus putting extreme favor for Magneto. Now, of course, everybody's shocked and realizes, okay, Vegeta's in a situation, what the heck is he going to do? And then the episode pretty much ends on that note. So that pretty much covers this episode review. What did y'all think? Did you like the episode? Did you hate the episode? I personally thought it was nice. I feel like Vegeta basically imagined Frost being Frieza because he had every opportunity to finally beat up on someone to the extreme. Granted, I think he would have much preferred to actually beat up on the real Frieza, but this is a close second for him, I'm sure. Anyways, what are your thoughts? Comment down below in the comments section. That said, I want to thank y'all for watching. Make sure to like, rate, comment, subscribe. Check out the official Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch pages. I'll link down below in the description per usual. Tune in tomorrow for the next part of my Pokemon Yellow Let's Play. I haven't decided if I'm going to do this one live again or if I'm going to, I don't know, maybe just record it like a standard episode, whatever. I'll decide. Let me see. What else should I say here, guys? I guess that's pretty much it. So, yeah. Peace, guys. Yeah, peace. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z/Kai, Dragon Ball GT, and Dragon Ball Super are all owned by Fuji TV, Toei Animation, Funimation, and Akira Toriyama. I do not claim to own any of these. The video and any images that appear were used under fair use.